everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Autumn Renee, and today we are going to be talking about homeschool curriculum picks for this upcoming 2025-2026 school year for my second grader. Now, if you have been watching my channel, you know it has been a minute since I have posted a video on this channel, so I do apologize for that. I have been very busy. As you guys know, I have two young kids at home and I work and I homeschool, and it's just been a lot, and sometimes I just have to take some breaks from YouTube now and then. But I am here today to update you guys on what we are planning for this upcoming school year for our curriculum. And if you are new here, make sure you guys subscribe for future videos. I make a lot of content about homeschooling. I also have content about being an transracial adoptive mom. So if you guys are interested in any of that content, make sure you go down and subscribe below. All right, let's go ahead and get into it. So starting off with our pick for math, this probably is no surprise to most of you. We are going to be continuing with the Math with Confidence series. I feel like this is a very popular math series in the homeschooling community right now, and I think it is for good reason. I feel like this curriculum is like the perfect blend of spiral and mastery. I know I've said that before, but it's just so true. Like, it has that consistent built-in review, but then it also spends like several weeks on one concept. And I just feel like both of those things are so important for, you guessed it, building confidence in math. So I feel like this program just really does what it's supposed to. That being said, I don't think it's completely perfect. I feel like every year we do these programs, like about halfway through, I start having doubts where I'm like, oh, I don't know about the way that they're teaching this or that, or my son's not grasping something, but then like a few weeks later, he's got it. So I feel like I always have like those moments of like doubt, and then I keep going. So, but overall, I really like this program. If you're not familiar with it, this is like the student workbook. It's very colorful. There's not very many problems on one page. It's also very visual, and they do the problems in a lot of different ways. So they'll do it with money, they'll do it with dice, they'll do it with cards. So I just feel like overall it's giving kids a really good number sense. There's lots of games, it's very fun, and overall we just really, really like it. So that's the student workbook. And then there's also an instructor's guide, which is really easy to follow. It's scripted. It kind of just follows the same little flow and format. So overall, I have found this program to be good, open and go, and it's also pretty affordable. So if you are out there searching for a math curriculum, this will be one to check out. Also, I should mention, I do have a full, like, in-depth review of Math with Confidence on my channel. So if you're interested in like looking like what manipulatives we have, what's a lesson look like look more in depth inside the book, you can definitely go check that out on my channel. All right, moving on to reading. So again, no surprise, guys. These two were just, you knew they were going to be these picks. We are continuing with the All About Reading series. We did finish level 1 and have gotten a little over halfway through level 2 this year. I feel like my son has really taken off with reading. I feel like the stuff that was introduced in level 2 has really just opened up so many more books for him, and he's actually starting to read like little beginner chapter books, and it's just really exciting. So we are going to be continuing with this program. It's working for us. I really like it. Sometimes I do wish that the concepts were taught a little quicker. I think, knowing what I know now, I think I would have sped this program up a little bit, and I might do that for my next child. I just, you don't know what you don't know. It was my first time teaching a child to read, so I just really took the program super slow. But I'm realizing now that it's like, wow, if we could have gotten to some of this stuff earlier, like we could have been reading a lot more. But anyway, this has been working great for us. It's a pretty popular program again, so I'm sure you guys have heard of it. But this is the teacher's manual, which is the bulk of the instructions in here. This program has pretty much no writing in it, so it's all just like games and flashcards and things, so it's great for whatever ages of learners you have. And it's, again, scripted, tells you exactly what to do as the parent, really holds your hand in teaching your kid how to read. So this has been great for us. We're gonna finish level 2 this next coming year, and then we'll jump right into level 3. I've actually already purchased that. I suspect that we will be in level 3 before Christmas. So I suspect we'll finish this in less than a semester, and then we'll be jumping into the 3rd level and just continuing on with the series. So it does come with an instruction manual for the teacher. And then there is like a student activity book, which we actually glue ours into this notebook. This is just something that I made for us. You can see I actually made it for the 1st level, but we've continued on using it for the 2nd level. So we just like glue all of our little activities in here that my son does. There's lots of like gluing and cutting and pasting activities. So we do those in here just to keep them. And that's where we put that. So those are where the student activities go for us. And then it also comes with some readers. These are probably my favorite part of the program. They're just very colorful and fun. I do feel like the readers are pretty long, but I think that's also good. Like it's building really good reading stamina for your child. So we've got those, and then it comes with the flashcard box, which has all of your like word cards in it. So those are the components of the program. They also have like little movable letter tiles, or you can get the app. We actually don't use either one of those things. We just use a whiteboard and write them down. But you can get that if you want that part of the program. If you're interested in seeing more in depth about this program, again, I have a more in-depth video about All About Reading on my channel where I go through all the components and what a lesson looks like and the pros and cons of the program and all that juicy stuff. So if you're wanting a more in-depth review of this, you can go check that out on my channel. All right, so that's math, that's reading. Now continuing on with language arts, we are going to be adding in spelling this year. Now you will see that this is actually first grade spelling, even though this is second grade curriculum picks. And that's just because my son wasn't ready for spelling last year. He's a pretty young second grader. He'll actually just be turning 7 as the year's starting. He's got that end of summer birthday, so he could have really been, in first or second grade this year. I feel like he's ready for second grade for the most part, so we're continuing on with that. So that's why he's in a grade 1 spelling. It's just because this is the first time he's done spelling, and I really wanted to start him out at the beginning of this program. And this program is Spelling Connection. So this is something new we're going to be trying out. I really like the look of this spelling program. I feel like it is kind of a blend of traditional spelling, but then also like teaching you the spelling rules. So you still have like, let me show you like the inside of this real quick. You still have like an inside, like you still have like a spelling word list here. And then it's got like activities for you to do with the spelling word list throughout the week. Oh my gosh, sorry. I'm trying to like turn these pages. It's not working for me. So you've got the spelling word list. You've got the different activities like you would in a traditional spelling program. But it also is like teaching you the rules, especially as it gets into the later levels. Like it's going to tell you like why you spell it this way, which I like. I like that it's using the spelling rules. And some of you might be surprised because I'm using All About Reading that I'm not using All About Spelling. I don't have anything against All About Spelling. I'm sure it's a wonderful program. I just feel like it's very similar to All About Reading, and I feel like if we were doing All About Reading and All About Spelling, it would almost feel like we were doing the same program like twice. Like my son would feel like we're doing reading twice each day, so I just thought something different would be good for him. I also like this program particularly because I feel like he's getting handwriting practice in with this, so we're not even going to be doing a formal handwriting this year. I feel like he's going to get enough handwriting with this and some of the other things we're doing. And I also feel like it's got a lot of like vocabulary in it. So it'll tell you like the definitions of the words. It has like it in reading and stuff, especially again in those later levels because I've looked at the other levels of this. It's got like nonfiction passages and like literary analysis. So I just feel like it covers a lot more than just spelling. I feel like it's got handwriting and vocabulary and like nonfiction lit and like all kinds of stuff. So I just feel like this is a big bang for your buck. So we are going to be trying this out. I will let you guys know how it goes for us. So that's what we're doing for spelling. And then the last thing we're using for language arts is lightning literature and composition. So this is another thing new for us. Again, I went with grade 1 because a lot of people said that this program is pretty advanced. And again, I have a pretty young second grader. And so I just wanted to start at the beginning of the program because we did not do any formal like literature or grammar or writing last year because again, my son wasn't really ready. We were still just focusing on learning phonics. But this year I feel like he will benefit from having a more like comprehensive like literature, grammar, composition program. I feel like he's ready for that and I feel like that will really help his reading as he's continuing to learn to read. So this is the teacher manual. It has like everything pretty laid out for you. Weeks at a glance. This program includes grammar, it includes literature and like literary analysis type stuff, like language arts skills, and it also includes composition. I have heard that the composition for this program is pretty open-ended, maybe even considered a little bit like weak, like got a whole lot of like significant instruction. We will see. We're gonna try it out. I was an English teacher. I was a public school English teacher before I became a homeschool mom. So I feel like I maybe can work with it. We will see. What sold me on this program, I'll be honest, is the student workbook. I loved the way this looked and how it introduced grammar. I just felt like it was so simple and just exactly what I was looking for at this age. So like I'll show you guys. This is like what it would look like. So it's just very like short, sweet. I feel this will only take us a few minutes a day, but I feel like it is very like age appropriate. I feel like it's covering like a lot of different skills, things like how to write a letter, but basic punctuation and capitalization, alphabetizing, just stuff like that that you just don't really get anywhere else except for in a language arts program. So I'm excited to use this. I also love that it's literature based, so we're going to be reading all these great books. And this first grade level is actually really focused on picture books, which I also love because I feel like sometimes when kids start kind of reading chapter books, picture books kind of fall off the bandwagon a little bit. And so I like that he's still going to get some of that through this program. So I will again let you guys know what we think. If y'all would like to see kind of more in depth about this program, let me know and I can make a video on that. But this is what we're going to be using for our grammar, our literature, like reading comprehension, all of that is going to be included in this program. All right, so that is all we're using for math and language arts. So now we're going to move into science. And this is actually our first year doing a formal science. Well, last year we tried Bookshark Science. I kind of shared a little bit in my mid-year review, kind of why that didn't end up working out for us. So I don't really count last year because I feel like we only did it for like half the year. So this year we are going to hopefully do a full year of formal science, and we are going to be using Real Science Odyssey Life. Now, I had a hard time finding a good secular science program that I felt like was going to work for our family. I wanted something that was open and go and pretty easy, but also still fun. And I just felt like I could not find that. And I had initially passed over this program because when I looked at it initially, I was like, this is like nothing but experiments. And that is like my downfall as a science homeschool parent. Like, it is just so hard for me to get experiments done. Like, you have to get all the supplies and the setup and the cleanup, and it feels so hard to fit in. And I was like, if that's the entire science program, I cannot imagine that we would ever like get this done. However, I went back and looked at this again when I was really struggling with what we were going to do for science this year. And I think that we actually will be able to do this pretty well, because even though this science curriculum is pretty experiment based, I feel like what they consider an experiment is really simple. Like, I feel like one of the experiments was literally just like go outside and find things that are alive. Like some of them were really, really simple. In fact, most of them were simple, and a lot of them even had like additional activities that you could have done instead. And so what I did is I went ahead and purchased it after looking at the sample because I really kind of liked what I saw. And what I ended up doing is I actually typed out my own like yearly schedule for this, where I basically put which labs I wanted to do, and then if there was a lab I didn't want to do, I like found a substitute activity. And this really did not take me long because, again, I found that this book had mostly simple experiments. I found that most of them were actually very doable and easy to do without a lot of prep, without a lot of, like it just didn't feel like too much to do. I didn't feel like it was a traditional science experiment where you're having to like mix all this stuff and do all these things. Like it was simple. And I liked it. And another thing I really liked about this program is basically each chapter you will have like this little one pager where it is basically almost like a textbook page where it just tells you like what you're learning about. So like this one's like, what is life, and talks about like what life is. And I just like that. I like that it's just, I open it and I read it and then we do the thing. Again, it's just, I needed something that was more open and go, guys. And I felt like some of these other science programs, it was like, you have to get all these books or you have to plan all this stuff out. And I just wanted it done for me. So I liked that I could just read this. And then after this page, it has the labs that you can do. And again, you can pick and choose which labs you want to do and how complicated you want to make it. But I personally found the labs to be really easy to do. A lot of them were like, some of them were art projects. Some of them were just like nature walks. And so I really feel like if you were also like me, intimidated by this program due to the experiments, I highly suggest you guys actually go and look at them. Because once I really did look at them, I was like, oh, I can do this. Like this is my kind of level. I can do this. I don't know about the future levels of Real Science Odyssey. We will cross that bridge when we get there. But I feel pretty good about the life one. I did order a few supplemental books to go with this, just like fun books that were about some of the topics that we were going over, like picture book type things. But other than that, I really didn't have to purchase much for this program. So I think that it's going to be a good fit, but I will definitely keep you guys updated on how that goes. But this is what we are going to be doing for science. This one is rated for like K through 2, so it could be for a younger kid as well. I might have my preschooler join us in on this, at least parts of it. We will see. So that's science. And then last but certainly not least is going to be history. This is the first year we are doing formal history. We did studies weekly last year, which was kind of like just like a social studies, like weekly newspaper you got. I found it to be pretty basic, and I don't feel like we really learned a lot, so I don't really recommend that program. But my son has been asking and asking to learn about people, to learn about other places. Like he has a real interest in that. So I think he's really, really, really gonna love history this year. He's been asking and asking, so he's definitely ready to start. And we decided to go with Curiosity Chronicles. This is the ancient history, which is like the first one. It's rated for the younger kids. I'm really excited about this. I do feel like it is just on the edge of being potentially above his level. I don't think I would do this with a child who was younger than second grade. Maybe an advanced first grader, but especially if your kid's like me and has like is on the younger side, I feel like second grade is like the minimum you could start this. I've also seen people start it much later, like in fourth and fifth grade. So just keep that in mind. I do feel like it's a little advanced, but I think it's going to be fine. Looking through it, basically, if you do not know anything about this program, it is chronological history. So it starts like at the very beginning. It's got very colorful pages. It's got real photographs. It is told in like a dialogue format. So it's like these two characters speaking back and forth to each other about these topics, which I feel like is really kid friendly and fun. I think my son is going to enjoy that. It's got lots of little pop-out boxes with extra facts and information about the cultures. What I was really looking for in a history curriculum was something that was very inclusive of some of the history that is not always told. I didn't want to whitewash history, and I have heard really good things about Curiosity Chronicles. Obviously, no history program is perfect, but from the research I did, this is supposed to be one of the less biased history programs that you can find. So we've decided to go with this. It basically has this book, which has all of the information and chapters about ancient history, which you'll read together. They do have an audiobook, which I did purchase. And then they have a student guide, which has got all the student pages in it. And this is the part of the program that I feel like is a little advanced. It's got like comprehension questions that are in matching vocabulary. It's got some of these word unscramble things and stuff like that. And I don't know that my son's going to be able to do all of this. So we are just going to work. I feel like we will probably do the vocabulary more together, like verbally, and same thing with the comprehension questions. It does also have like a timeline and map work, which we are going to do those. I printed out these little timeline markers, which we'll put on our timeline. And then we're going to be doing the map work together, so it should cover kind of geography as well. And then I will just let my son decide if he wants to do these extra activities. I feel like a word unscramble might be too advanced for him right now. It's also got like word searches and other fun things. So it's got lots of those kinds of things to help you review the chapter that you read. But then what's really cool is it has all these additional activities to add fun to your day. So for example, it'll have get toilet paper and mummify something, or there's a lot of Minecraft ones. So if your kid's into Minecraft, they can build the Parthenon or whatever, with Minecraft blocks. And so it just had lots of additional fun activities that you could pick. So I went through the chapters and just kind of highlighted the ones that I wanted to do. And so we're going to be doing those. And then I also picked up a few of the additional books. There was a few picture book recommendations. It would have been way too much for us, for our budget, to get a picture book for every single chapter. But we did pick up a few early readers that I felt like my son would enjoy going over ancient history. So this is what we're going to be doing this year. I think it's going to be a huge hit. And that is really what we are using for our core subjects this year. Now, this is only the core subjects. This is not including any extras that we're doing. I am going to make another video talking about our extras, things like logic and art and music and all that kind of stuff, because we are going to be doing most of that family style. So it's going to be including not just my second grader, but also my preschooler. And so I will be making that video. I'm also going to be making a video on my preschool curriculum picks. It's going to come out after this video. So make sure you guys subscribe below, like this video if it was helpful, and let me know in the comments below if you've used any of this curriculum or what curriculum you are excited for this year for your second grader. I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye.